Hey y'all! Today I'm back with another homeschooling video, and I wanted to share today with you the 10 vintage skills you need to teach in your homeschooling journey. Now, you're probably thinking, why would I want to teach something that is considered vintage? Just so it doesn't ever disappear. I mean, with our world changing every single day, more and more technology is integrated into our life. It's always good to know how to get back to the basics and learn those things. I know I had to learn them before I could teach them. So if you're like me, it's a great opportunity for you to learn as well. Number 1, gardening. Why do I say gardening with homeschool? Because gardening in itself is a science. The life cycle of a plant, or photosynthesis and the water cycle. There's also things that you can learn about pH in the soil, and soil itself is science. Also, in the meantime, you're teaching your children where their food comes from. I know when we started homeschooling, that was one thing that I made a point to do, because my kids didn't know where their food came from. They thought that it came from the store. You might even do your own garden. If you don't have a space for a large garden, you can always container garden or do a windowsill garden. There's plenty of things out there that you can do, and it has been proven that if kids grow their own vegetables, they're more likely to eat them willingly. Number 2, this kind of goes with the gardening. If you garden, or you have a friend, or you go to a farmer's market and you get an abundance of things, you need to teach your kids how to preserve food seasonally. Now, this can be freezing things, this can be dehydrating things, this can be canning. The whole process behind this in itself is very fascinating. If you have never done any of these things, please definitely check out the process of preserving food and why it is needed to preserve food. If you preserve your own food, it's actually healthier for you than what you get at the store. Now, I will put a disclaimer out there. If you are looking into canning, there are 2 types, water bath and there is pressure canning. If you decide to go the pressure canning route, I don't recommend that for children, very young children, and even for older children. That is something you definitely want to have an adult with them at all times, because pressure canners can be dangerous. Number 3, cooking and baking from scratch. This kind of goes back with the gardening theme and the preserving of the food. You definitely need to teach your children how to cook from scratch. Why is this important? What if you couldn't go out and purchase, an ingredient, but you had it fresh in your garden, or your neighbor had it fresh and you could use that? Also, you need to learn how to follow a recipe, follow directions. Those are great life skills that every child needs to know. Also, when you are cooking your own meals from scratch, it's also healthier for you and it saves you money. Number 4, plan ahead. Now, this is very important because our world is crazy right now. It is so busy with everything going on. Someone has to be here. Plans are changing, but if you can go ahead and create a routine that you get into every single day, it is going to make your homeschooling journey just go a lot smoother and work in your favor. Also, you can teach children how to meal plan. In our family, we sit down once a month and we talk about what meals they want, what their plans are, and we meal plan around those dates. Also, we include our children in our budgeting. They get to see what we're doing and how we do it, how to balance our checkbook, how to budget for our food, because we actually feed our family on $300 a month. We're a family of 6, so you can check that video out right here. If you have ever seen or ever heard of Dave Ramsey and his Financial Peace University and Total Money Makeover, you definitely need to check him out. He has some great suggestions and things that you can implement with your children right now, and it'll teach them crucial planning skills, because Life is unpredictable. Number 5, sewing. You can go as far as teaching how to work with a pattern, cut out and sew and make your own outfit, or you can just go as simple as sewing on a button or mending clothes. That actually will save you money if you teach your child how to mend their clothes, because let's face it, how many times have you had a hole in a shirt or pants and you said, oh no, these are ruined, I have to go out and buy more? Well, this vintage skill will teach your kids how to use it up, wear it out. Number 6. This one is one of my favorites. Keeping history. What does that mean? I'm talking about print off pictures off your camera, off your phone. Don't leave them locked on there. Why is this a vintage skill? Because my grandmother and my great-grandmother all the way down, they have kept over the years photos, letters, important things that we can look back on, and we know our family history. We live in a digital age, and what would happen if you weren't able to access your cloud and pull all your pictures off? I know I would be devastated. So once a month, sit down, print those pictures off. You can use so many different options. I know CVS, Walgreens, Shutterfly, there's all sorts of options out there that you can have them printed off and sent to you. Now, why is this important skill to teach? Because what happens when you're gone? You will not be able to teach your kids what happened when you were growing up. So keep things that are important to you. Start a journal. That is something that I absolutely love doing, is journaling. And you just write down your day and how it went. I actually started journaling when Carson, was our youngest son, was very sick in the hospital. And now I can look back on those notes and those entries, and I can appreciate that time. That's such really difficult time that we were going through. And I know that will be a moment in our family's history that we talk about. Going forward, any kind of a life event, you definitely want to make it important, and you want to remember those things, because history is changing. Unfortunately, people are rewriting history, and you want to be able to know how it really happened and how you felt, or how your kids felt. When their kids have kids, they can look back on what it was like living during this crazy, wild time that we're living in right now, and they will have an accurate depiction of what you and your family went through. But keep your family history. That is so important. Number 7. Now, this one is one of my favorites. I think everyone should learn basics of first aid and natural health. Now, why do I say those two things together? Everybody knows how to put a Band-Aid on. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how to use a sling properly, how to place a splint on a leg if you were to get hurt, how to perform CPR. You never know in today's world when you're going to need to know those things. Teaching your children this can also integrate your health science with it. Also, the natural health is something that is very near and dear to my heart. We have been learning about medicinal plants, our vegetation and plants that are around us, the trees, what is poisonous, what is not poisonous, what happens if you come in contact with poison oak, poison ivy, or poison sumac. How would you treat that? What would happen if you needed medicine, but the medicine was not in the stores? Because let's face it, we just went through a very weird time in our life, honestly, where we couldn't find things in the store. And these things give you a natural alternative. Now, personally, I love Rosemary Gladstar. She is awesome. Now, this one, she breaks it down like dandelions. She talks about the dandelions, how to use it, things like that. She has several books out. So this one is just the beginner's guide. I have other books her herbal recipes for vibrant health. I just think it's great for everyone to know, in the event if you needed to know a medicinal herb, you know where you can go, where you can get it, how you can use it. Number 8. Housekeeping basics. Why do I say this as a vintage skill that you need to teach? Cleaning daily, weekly, and seasonally are all things that your children need to know. Housekeeping basics goes with hygiene. You want to make sure that your children know how to clean things the right way, because if you don't teach them, how are they going to know? Things like that is pretty basic for you and me, but for kids, they've never done these kind of things before, and this is something that is very crucial that they need to learn. Example, laundry. How to do laundry. Kids can learn how to do laundry at a very young age. You'd be surprised how young they can separate clothing, they can help fold things. I know my daughter, she's 5, and she was helping when she was 3. Separating the darks and the lights and the things, the towels and the socks and all things like that. That was helping her not only with life skills, but with education skills, because she's sorting in her brain, she's matching colors, she's matching textures. And how many people buy matching games for their children? I know I have, but this is a real life matching game. Number 9. This one I love, and it's very near and dear to my heart as well, and it's tending and processing animals. Yeah, you heard me right. Tending and processing animals. And I understand that not everybody will be able to do this, but if you are, this is definitely something that I think all children need to know. It teaches them responsibility. It teaches them that, other things are relying on them, just like they're relying on you as a parent to give them their needs. These animals are relying on the children to give them what they need. I cannot express how much my children have learned just with us having what we have. We have 5 goats, 20 chickens, 2 rabbits, 3 dogs, 2 cats, and 2 turkeys. You're probably thinking, that is a lot of animals. Well, it is, but there are reasons why we have these animals. With this, each animal has taught our children, well, the goat needs trace minerals. The goat needs baking soda for bloat, and they have to learn these things. The chickens are like little velociraptors. They'll eat pretty much anything, but if you feed a chicken this kind of feed, you're gonna get this color, yolk. You'll get a richer yolk, or if you put this rabbit with this rabbit, you'll have these kind of babies and things like that. And it teaches them about the life cycle. It teaches them where their food comes from. It teaches them, basic skills that anybody really needs, tending and caring for animals. They build up that love and trust and respect, but they also understand at the same time, this is where food comes from. Number 10, basic auto care. And this I'm talking about your changing a tire, changing your oil, check your air in your tires. If you know more about like tune-ups and things like that and alignments, then you can teach your children about that too. There are some not nice people in the world that will take someone who is naive to the cleaners and say, oh, you need this and you need that and you need this, when you go in for just a simple oil change. Let's face it, how many people have gone in to get their oil changed and they come back and say, well, you have this, 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 and this, and this. Do you want me to do that now? And then your $50 oil change goes to $300 like that. I know our son will be driving here in a couple of years, and we want him prepared. So if something were to happen, say he got a flat tire, he would know how to change a tire properly, and just basic safety skills within the car too. And I'm gonna throw in an extra one because this is one of my favorites. I absolutely love it, and we actually do this once a month at our house. Number 11, it is soap making. We love to make soap around here. It is so easy. I cannot even begin to explain how easy it is. It saves us a ton of money, and honestly, it's better for our skin than what we have bought at the store. I honestly do not remember the last time we bought a bar of soap. It has saved us so much money. Our average soap is like we get 20 to 25 bars out of our recipe that we use. So that is my 10 vintage skills that you definitely need to teach in your homeschooling journey. In the long run, your child will be more well-rounded and appreciate things a little bit more. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. I would be glad to help you out. This is something that I'm very passionate about. I think it's important for every kid to learn at least some of these skills. We hope that you have a great homeschooling journey, and we will see y'all next time. Bye, guys.